Hi everyone, it's Cindy. Welcome back to Studioloo. So I'm here today with Thrift Haul for Thrifty Thursday and Thrifty Canucks. So you can find more about those collabs down in my description box. So I have a bit of a thrift haul today. I'll start with this stack of books. So the first one is this book, which I found in a tree, which is funny because right now I'm working on tree journals, but I walk on this beautiful path with my children that's near this lovely river by a park, and there's a tree there with a big hollow in it, and people have been putting books in it for a long time, and so I've even put a book in it myself before. So this book is called Listen, Songs and Poems of Canada by Homer Hogan. So it's just a fun little square book, and it's got some black and white pictures of, singers like Joni Mitchell, and it's mainly just these lovely like verses, kind of like the poetry of song, right? So yeah, it's got some really fun poetry in it, and the Halton County Board of Education must have gotten rid of it. And it is from, I'm going to guess the 70s. Yes, 1972. Okay, so then the next one is this 1988 Changing Seasons Appointment Calendar with Antique Revolving Pictures by Ernest Nister. So these books are so much fun because see this? They've got these revolving pictures. And I feel like you could, if you wanted to take this apart, you could learn how to make those yourself. And they all seem to work quite nicely. So those will be really fun to use in journals. And then it's also just got these nice like calendar pages, right? So this one's cute with the lamb and the little girl. And the goat and the little girl. It's a pretty cute book. This one is probably an 80s. Oh yeah, 88. I'm sorry. That was not rocket science. Then I found this really fun book by Marie Louise Gay. I love her illustration style. Moonbeam on a Cat's Ear. This is Taylor. So probably a book that belonged to a school or something. 1986. And it's got these big words, and it's just super cute. I like her characters, and look at that illustration. Isn't that just cool? I really just like her style of how she draws people and children. Then I grabbed one of these, Age of Progress, The Great Ages of Man. So there was this is a Time Life collection book. There was a whole collection of these. These books that I'm showing you are from my local animal shelter charity. And books are so inexpensive there. They're like 50 cents for children's books and $1 for adult books. And it's just got a lot of cool, I'll probably just process this down to what I want to use. It's got a lot of cool stuff in it. Like these illustrations are really neat. It's got like a very 70s feel to it. And then there's older kind of stuff, some nice black and white photography at the back that I think would be fun to use, this kind of stuff. If you don't have access to things like cabinet cards and what have you, this is a really nice way to be able to have black and white photos. And then this one, I got to read The Amazing Healing Powers of Nature, How Plants and Animals Are Helping to Improve Our Health. So I'm not like a woo health person or anything, but the truth of the matter is that many things, right? This whole earth is very connected. You learn about things like symbiotic relationships and how plants and animals work together to like do things like pollinate or plant seeds, and I find all of it so very, very fascinating. And also, like, there's so much to learn in here, and I want to read this with my daughter, who is very science obsessed right now. And so yeah, I think this is going to be a beside the bed kind of book, and we're just going to learn a little bit about things like, you know, jasmine, traditional wisdom, medical benefits, you know, what you can do with jasmine, that kind of thing. Okay, so the last book is this one, and it certainly has seen better days, but it's also so beautiful with its golden thistles, its Waverley novels. You have Sir Walter Scott here on the front, and this emblem here. I'm really into it just for the thistles, to be honest. I think I probably will end up cutting something to go in here. I've often thought about doing kind of like a thistles and weeds kind of journal, because I just love the look of thistles. There's something about just their shape and their leaves being so shapely, and the purple flowers, they're just beautiful. So this book is quite lovely and old. And it has no date, which is sort of common, unfortunately, for some of these turn of the century kind of books. So I'm thinking this volume is probably from a collection, of course, and likely, you know, late 1800s, if I could guess. Nothing. Okay. But yeah, it's a beautiful book, and it's even got some embossing on the back that is kind of thistly, which would be really nice with some gold emboss over it. I'm clearly going to have to deal with this spine because it is gone. But yeah, pretty. All right, 1 second. Okay. Sorry for the crinkle. Bag is unruly. Okay. Good enough. So then I found this for $2, and it's a big reel of cross-stitch fabric. Sorry. I have to put that on the other side of me. Okay. And it's just cross-stitch fabric, like, but it's got this fun stitching on the edges. And you know, I thought about a few different things I want to use this for. So one is to cut it into sections and put a rub-on on it, like a botanical rub-on. And the other is to make like little mini, maybe little mini cross stitches for journals. When I'm in the car, I can sit and stitch or something. Okay. And then I found a copy of this book, Murder Inc. I just got it because it's $1, and I already have a copy of both this one and the one that's like Murderess Inc. And it's about like mystery and kind of like mystery crime, like not true crime, but like mystery writers, like Miss Marple type of stuff. And I have an idea to create a journal or two in that theme of like, you know, crime discovery and that kind of thing, but with like a kind of a mystery, you know, side to things. So that's why I grabbed it, because I already have one, and it's good to have lots of fodder for those things. And then I found this. This whole collection here was $3. And it's just a bunch of pretty embroidered yellow linens. So that one's the one that's different. The rest are oak leaf. And I actually have a use for the little one, I think. And then there's 1, 2, this size. Then the long one. Really pretty. I love the little acorns and oak leaves. Sorry for that little snip. Every now and then my camera decides to turn evil and stops recording. So you may have missed a little bit. I'm going to backtrack. If there's anything here that I accidentally show twice, I'm sorry. It's just hard to tell when the camera stopped filming. Anyways, so this book I got, The Way Things Are and Other Poems by Myra Cohn Livingston. This book is just lovely little poetry bits and bites. So this one's fun. The tape. Poor song, going around in your cassette over and over, repeating the same old tune. Can you breathe in there? Come, song, going around in your cassette over and over again. Break out, let me play you fresh on my guitar. So just fun little poems. Then this one, this is Fisherman's Luck by Henry Van Dyke. Has a lovely little label down there that's all worn too. And it has this Gaskell Library and Bookshop label inside. Yeah, just a nice old book with a nice cover from 1927. Yep. And then I found this book. It's just a novel, and it's just a nice Frida Kahlo novel. I mean, I definitely know her story, but I wouldn't mind reading this book. I haven't read this one, so I thought it would be nice. Then I found this book. This is really beautiful. Bloom, A Story of Fashion Designer Elsa Schiaparelli by Kyle McClear and Julie Morstad. So it's got a really lovely cover. I think I'll first read this with my daughter, and if it doesn't have a particularly interesting story, it will come back, but if the story is, you know, one that I want to keep for the kids, then I will keep it in the library. And this one is 100% for the kids' library. This is Carol and the Pickle Toad by Esme Shapiro. And, sorry, I was just thinking I had seen that name somewhere else before. This is so cute. A pickle toad, come on. This is from 2021. It has really charming illustrations, but I'm really looking forward to reading this with the kids. I think it's so cute. And this children's book, okay, so I took the cover off because it's had some water damage and I don't want any mold bloom to touch the book. So this is a pattern for Pepper, okay, and this is going to become a journal at some point because I love this book. I own a copy of it already. It's in our library. I initially got it at like the public library, and it is the most wonderful book. I recommend it if you love children's books to get this. It's by Julie Crowless, and it's the story of a little girl and her mother, and they're trying to pick out a fabric for a dress to make her. It just checks all the boxes. The colors, the blue and amber, and just the textile aspect to it. It's just beautiful. It's from 2017, Penguin Random House. And so they go to this tailor shop and they're looking at all the patterns. They meet the tailor and he measures her, and then they start to look at herringbone and then seersucker, and then of course the woven you know, plaids, and look at the houndstooth. Isn't that wonderful? And calico and all sorts of lovely, you know, patterns. And so they go through the book and they tell a bit of a story, and yeah, it's just a really beautiful book. So I recommend it completely. I have to think about how I can turn this into a nice journal because the pages are so big. Okay, then trying to like backtrack in a way that makes sense here. So let's, first of all, I'll show you this. So for some reason, whenever I go thrift shopping, look at this lovely Trader Joe's bag. We don't even have, sadly, we don't have Trader Joe's in Canada, but like, oh my gosh, this is the prettiest bag. It's got a Jonathan Swift poem on the bottom, and like, for whatever reason, the woman that works at the thrift store, she always digs through all the bags and gives me like a really beautiful bag. And I kick myself every time because I keep forgetting to bring my reusable bags when I go thrift shopping. I can do it at the grocery store, but I always forget at the thrift store. So I'm in this constant, like, I take all the bags, I put them in my donation box, and then I bring them back. So we're in this forever loop of bag recycling, which I guess is okay. So these are suspenders that I found for $1 at a thrift store that's new to me, that I probably will return to. It's more of a curated type thrift store, but they're very focused on clothing and home goods, which means they don't know the value of many other things, which is great. So these are Coonies, and I just love this pattern, but I'm actually going to end up giving them to my husband because sometimes he highlights as a plumber, and yeah, I just want him to have his pants up where they need to be all the time. So, and I said highlights, I meant moonlights. Oh my goodness. Okay. Next is this stuff. Okay, this is so confusing to do, my silly camera. Okay, so I found this. It was $2, and it is a huge ream of like cross-stitch fabric that has edging, and I was thinking of a couple uses for it. One is like botanical rub-ons. I'll cut a little piece and put a botanical rub-on. The other is obviously dyeing and or stitching little cross-stitch, you've seen those cross-stitch patterns for journals. And then this is really cool, the stained glass Christmas ornament coloring book. So these are all on black paper, and they're transparent, right? So you color them in with marker, and you can hang them in a window and get the pattern. But this little frog's been colored, that's an example. But like, these would be really fun in journals as well. Okay, then we have this Sarah Simblett sketchbook for the artist. So I got this because I'm working on, well, I'm slowly working on another series of the artist sample book journals, and these have lots of good things in them to use to make pockets and stuff that are specifically artist related, right? So sketchbook stuff, things that I like to use in those kind of books. So it's a really cool book. And then this book, Murder Inc. So this is a mystery reader's companion. I actually already have this book. I also have its companion copy of Murderess Inc. and it's about mystery writers. I got this one just because I am planning to do journals in this theme, like the, you know, the mystery, you know, kind of crime mystery sort of novel. Not like gory true crime or anything. More like classic mystery writers. So I'm going to bring the bits and bobs up here. One second. So the sad thing is I already took the prices of everything, so I can't even show you my point about what I'm going to show you next. Okay, was it this one? Yes, it was. Okay, so this was 49 cents. And this is what I was saying about this thrift store that's new to me, that they don't really know the value of other things, that like, you know, they focus on clothing and like kitchen stuff. Like that's like the Zennial experience for thrifting for some reason. So these Happy Home Rust Needle-proof book, rust-proof needle book rather, this Danger Needle decided to come out, is something I've been looking for forever, and I see them often, well, no, from time to time, not often. Okay, these needles all just want to escape in antique stores, but they're usually around like $12–15, this specific one, the Happy Home one, and I've wanted it for a long time, and it's in such nice condition. So yeah, that's maybe the find of the day. I'm really stoked about that particular find. Okay, so this was also, this one was 99 cents, I think. And it's just a beautiful linen napkin in really vintage great colors. Then these, okay, so I found these were 75 cents for this bag and $1.25 for that bag. And there's something a little different. They're so weird. They're made from, I think, Easter grass. They're iridescent. It's like plastic yarn. And there's pink, and then there's this one in this champagne color, and it looks like it's been torn off something vintage. Like these, I think, must be vintage. And then this bag, they're like this bluey color, also iridescent. They're crocheted at the back. I love them, and they're nice and flat. Like if you want them to go in a book, I don't think it'll be a problem. So those are cool. Something a bit different. And then I did get a bit of lace. Now I'm sort of following a rule about lace because I have a lot of lace. It's got to be very different. It can't just be like eyelet lace. So this one fits the criteria. It either has to be different or hand crocheted, and then either way it's coming home with me. This one also I thought was a nice, different and dainty little lace. I think these were around $1 each. Then this was 99 cents. It's another beautiful linen. Then I got some vintage seam bindings. This was in one bag for 49 cents. Two nice reams of brown and some blue. And then these are satin ribbon, which this one was $1.50 and this one was 49 cents. This one I'm going to use as is, but this one I'm going to dye. It made me think about my dearly departed friend Carolyn, her beautiful silk and satin hand-dyed ribbons. So once I saw it, I was like, oh, I need to do a little project. And then this humongous piece of lace, it's really interesting. See the circles? Like it's like a herringbone kind of. This huge thing, it's like I think probably a curtain panel. It was $1.49 for this whole huge piece. And that's at the new thrift store. This little doily was $1. Then this is maybe the find, also the find of the day. So this was in the store. It was priced at $2.99, and I was like, oh, I love this pattern. And this is all I could see, but there was something inside, and it was like it was pinned shut from the inside, and I couldn't really open it. It was kind of weird. I couldn't get to the pin. So I was like, and I thought $2.99, I'll get it. I wasn't even sure what it was, but now that I have it and I've opened it, there's pockets here and here, and I can look at the whole thing. I think it's a book cover. So it's a stitched book cover, and it's gorgeous. But at the thrift store, I think they thought it was a napkin holder because it was in the napkins section. So the true treasure begins when I open it up. Okay. So when I got it open, like I could see just a little tiny titch of gold. I don't know if you saw that, but this is what was inside. These are hand toll painted silk organza, and they're just the most dainty little, like, I'm not even sure what you would use these for. I guess they're just doilies, but there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those. 6 of these dainty things. And then these rounds that are stitched with these little gold leaves, there's 3 of those. And then there's 2 of these little eyelet sort of style stitched linen. And then there's 11 of these little floral kind of napkins. And so they were all inside here, inside these pockets. And yeah, I was like, wow, what a score. And then I found this little lace. It just meets my criteria because it's a little different with these little circles. And then I got a hand stitched lace with these circles and flowers. It's beautiful. Okay. I showed you that. Okay, I think that's everything, and I really apologize if there was something that you didn't get to see. My camera, every now and then, just it goes on its own little bender. I don't know why it's doing that every now and then, but it's like not frequent enough for me to replace the camera, but like when it does happen, I'm like, I'm gonna throw it into the moon. So anyways. But that's it for me for today. I hope you enjoyed seeing all these goodies that I got, and until next time, I hope the thrifting fairies are with you. Bye for now.